Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM, and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. First of all, Happy New Year. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you being here, listening in on your podcast services, whichever one that may be. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Joining me this evening for our first show of 2023, Jacob Terrell, Earl Nieto. And guys, Jacob, you and I were just talking a few minutes ago right before the show started. It's been a minute.
It has.
It has been a minute since we've sat down, since we recorded, well, really anything. And I know we've kept in touch, obviously, over the holidays. And I just want to ask you, how did things go? How were your holidays? How are the kids? Did the kids make out like bandits for Christmas?
Oh, I think he's talking to you, Earl. Sorry. Anyway,
all right. So now the cat's out of the bag.
Calm down.
No, shut your mouth.
Okay, go ahead.
So now the cat's out of the bag. Yes, I do have a 5-year-old in my life. But no, I don't know if she made out like a bandit because I didn't get her any. Oh, I got her one gift. So go ahead, Seth. Jacob.
Okay. They did fairly well. They're also fairly young, and we try really hard to keep the number of useless toys out of the house. But we had fun. Me and Allie got to have a night away from the kids for the first time, I think, in over a year, which was nice. Those are toys now still. Yeah.
Yep, nice. Still there. Those will probably not go anywhere for a while.
Yeah. We were on the road, but just for a short little trip to Albuquerque there. So it wasn't too bad. I am glad that it's over, honestly, because holidays are stressful lately. So
yeah, they are. And I know that you guys typically, visit family and things. Did you guys make it down to Belen this year or no?
Yeah, that's what I mean. We stayed at Isleta, but we visited my family and her family.
Okay.
For Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then we came back Monday after Christmas. I was able to have a few days off just because my boss was like, hey, I'm retiring before next Christmas, and so you'll probably have to work every Christmas from here on out. So I will give you this Christmas off.
Well, that was kind.
Yeah. So we were able to enjoy that, and I'm looking forward to making everybody come to me next year, though. So we don't have to pack up what'll be 4 kids at that point and shuffle things around. So,
Earl, how were your holidays?
Just
dandy. Okay. It looked like you spent some time with some family. Were you out of town at all, or were you just out in your area out there?
Well, I was not home. That's for sure.
Okay.
I was not in Moriarty, McIntosh area. So Christmas Eve, I went to my mom's house and spent the night over there. Just hung out there, and then Christmas Day came home. The day after Christmas, went up north to my girlfriend's house and spent a couple days out there, and then came home.
All right, very nice. It sounds like you had an enjoyable holiday as well.
I put a lot of miles on my car.
I bet.
No doubt. With what you told us about the distance from where you guys are at, I don't doubt it. Any New Year's resolutions, guys?
Hold on, Seth. Did I have a fever dream, or did you go back to Atlanta for Christmas?
No, I was out there over Thanksgiving. Yeah,
he was drunk.
How was your Christmas?
It was good. Christmas was good. I showed you guys the pile of toys behind me. The boys obviously may not look like bandits, like you try to keep it minimal, but of course, grandparents and great grandparents, all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, if you guys had seen this, I mean, you guys saw the tree before Christmas. Nothing got put out until Christmas Eve. Kids, came over on Christmas Day, opened everything, and they had an absolute blast. Like there's Lego, there's video games, there's board games, there's all kinds of stuff. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Do you guys do Santa?
Yeah, the boys still believe in Santa, so they got Santa gifts and things.
If you're listening to this with kids,
oh yeah, there you go.
Earmuffs.
Yeah, no, they still believe. I'm pretty sure my oldest doesn't. but he at least plays along. You know, he plays along with the Elf on the Shelf and all that kind of stuff. And I end up, I bought myself a couple things, from Santa. Just to kind of help keep that alive, especially for my youngest, So, but no, it was good. I still had to work over holidays, but I was here at home, didn't have to go anywhere. So it was really nice. Robert over in the chat. Robert, we do appreciate you being here. New Year's resolution: Jacob needs to have less White Claw outbursts and respect Earl more.
I don't even know what that means. White Claw's disgusting, first of all, and second of all, give me one example, Robert, of a White Claw outburst that I've had, other than when Earl goes all Earl mode on me and I have to put him straight.
Well, while Robert is coming up with that, I mean, like I said, did you guys have any New Year's resolutions? Anything that you want to maybe not necessarily like a resolution, but something you want to work towards in 2023?
Earl bought a parenting book, so I think he's working on that.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Yeah. Despite the fact that I'm sitting here eating,
you guys are fucking hostile today.
It's just me, to be fair.
Hey, Andres over in the chat. Andre, how you doing, buddy? Appreciate you being here.
Despite the fact that I'm sitting here eating Mother's frosted covered animal crackers, I do really need to work on getting in a little bit of shape so I can go to the academy this summer. But I have a killer sweet tooth, and this was the smallest thing I could find. So baby steps.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's. You guys know that I went through a big weight loss over the past year or so, and so over the holidays, obviously, you eat more, and then being at home, the kids wanted all these treats. And New Year's Eve, they wanted all sorts of stuff. So it's, I'm getting back on track. I've been running. I've been doing some free weights and things like that. I'm happy. My apartment complex they're renovating the entire gym, the entire fitness center. So all brand new equipment at some point soon. So it'll be nice. When you dog the ice cubes and eggnog.
So to be fair, I don't think I dogged the ice cubes. I dogged the warm eggnog. That was what I was like, oh, Earl, no. And so, and that's not I don't know how that's a White Claw outburst. Robert's just a hater. And I had him on the podcast. We had him on the podcast together, and we treated him with nothing but respect. And yet he's still hashtag Team Earl. Maybe he's hashtag Team Earl because Earl being gone was the reason he was on the podcast. So he's happy that Earl was gone that time so he could come on.
That very well could be. And, there's no telling what that. There you go. Robert plans on attending the New Mexico United away game. There you go.
I don't know when that is, so I don't know if I'll be here, but I will.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that here in just a little bit. Earl, the last time we talked to you, you were beardless. The beard has returned. Any resolutions? Anything you want to work towards here in 2023?
Yeah, so you guys are both talking like health wise and getting in shape and eating less graham crackers at fucking 9 o'clock at night.
It's not graham crackers. It is frosted covered animal crackers. Get it right. If you're gonna talk shit.
Sorry, I'm not talking shit. I just wasn't paying attention because I was busy getting my banana pudding. So,
I think you think that's healthy because it has the word banana in it.
I know it's not healthy.
Okay, just making sure.
I know it's not healthy, but what I do know is healthy is giving up drinking. And you guys got the video where I officially gave up drinking December 14th. So
you did say that. Have you stuck to it?
Yep.
Okay. To be fair, the alcohol that you were pouring down the drain was alcohol that I would pour down the drain, even though I have not stopped drinking.
Yeah. Anyways, even the hell was it called? I'm looking at it. I can picture it. Yeah, the sipping nog.
Really?
Down the drain.
That's probably the reason why you had to quit, is because you were drinking like 2 of those jars a day, and they have like 10,000 calories in a jar. We were going to get Santa Earl over here if you kept drinking those.
So I really gave up drinking because obviously I have a family now. So trying to be responsible.
Well, you do realize you are still allowed to drink.
Both of us have a family.
Oh, I know. I was drinking a lot.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like Friday, Saturdays, drinking nonstop. So yeah, I gave it up.
Well, as long as it's in moderation, you're okay. Like that's the
But
thing.
it was not
so-
moderation.
Robert says, "I'll bring my jersey with a star. See Jacob with the White Claw frosted graham cracker outburst."
He's gonna bring his Dallas Cowboys jersey.
Boo.
Please tell me that you know what he means, right? Please tell
Yes.
me. Okay.
Yes, I know what he means. The fucking ugly striped shirts that they have with the star right here.
Earl is drinking Robert if he comes into Mexico. Okay. All right. Oh, I mean, we do have.
Hold on. No, we're just gonna
Yeah.
gloss over that. Okay. All right. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. We're trying to keep this one out. We don't have time for.
Robert, sorry to break your heart, but I don't know if you missed the past 2 minutes, but I gave up drinking.
He said with.
I know.
corrected it to with.
No, it's no new year, new us. We're gonna work at being a little bit more concise, just a little bit, and getting through the information. We're working on some
fucking
things
right.
behind the scenes about maybe a new format. We got Jacob and I have some plans that we said. Earl does not know this yet.
No, because Earl hasn't been around.
Yes, exactly. Earl hasn't
Oh,
been
no.
around, so
So we have just a little behind the scenes here. We have a group chat, right? The three of us on a group message. Usually it's fairly active. I couldn't count the times, how many times my phone would just go ding, 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 because these two were going back and forth. And now Earl, I think he's got like 5 texts in it the last month and a half because family and everything. Well, first,
Divorce will do that to you.
that's fair. Seth has also gone through a divorce since we started this process. And I don't
But
disappeared.
I was still living with that divorced person.
So you use the past tense there. Is this something we can discuss on air as to what the situation there is, or you want to wait till
Yeah.
we're
Yeah, she gave me a Christmas gift and moved the fuck out.
But your current girlfriend lives 45 or over an hour away. So how much are you actually going to be home?
I don't know. Yet.
Okay, before we get into, I got to ask Earl. Well, this is not something we have discussed yet, and this is something that just. How is your girlfriend going to deal with you doing the podcast?
Actually, she's okay with it.
What are the odds of getting her on the podcast?
Ooh, there we go.
What are the odds of getting her? Question.
Answer. Go get her right now and put her on the podcast. That's what I was asking.
She's
She's
asleep.
asleep?
Oh wow.
Yeah, she's putting her 5-year-old to bed.
Oh, so she's not asleep. She's just putting the kid to bed.
Yeah, she's putting the kid to bed.
Okay, well, when she's put the kid to bed, you wave her
Maybe.
over and
Maybe.
you sit her down, and we're going to ask her some very awesome questions. I promise.
We'll see.
All right, yeah, new year. We're gonna try to. We are working on some things behind the scenes, new formats. Because obviously, Jacob mentioned he's going to the police academy at some point later this year.
So, do you want us? It just came to my mind. Are you trying to get her on air so you can actually think that so you can know she's real?
No, I saw a
Yes.
picture of her on Instagram,
Okay,
and Seth met her. So
yeah,
I believe
she is real. I promise
she
you.
is real.
I just want to ask her if she's okay. I want her to blink twice if she's in trouble.
I'll ask her.
Okay. Yeah, so Jacob will be going to the police academy, so we are going to be making some format changes. We're going to work on throughout the year, and as Jacob prepares to leave, we have already reached out to I've already reached out to one person who will be coming on the show with us on a semi-regular basis, working on some additional content ideas, working on trying to get some other folks to join us throughout the time that Jacob is gone. We're also looking at doing another like weekly show, or match day show, so to speak. We'll have all that finalized here before the season starts. We are obviously going to continue our bi-weekly show up until probably about the beginning of March. And right around there, we'll start getting back into more weekly content as the season approaches. So a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Earl, you will get filled in on all this. I promise you that. We'll let you know exactly what's going on, and we'll get your input as well. So that being said, guys, it's been a big big week and a half, 2 weeks for New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. The New Mexico Runners, obviously, we talked about them. I think right before the break, the Runners won their road opener. They won their season opener on the road. Came back to New Mexico, played out the Rio Rancho Event Center this past weekend, where they took on the Amarillo Bombers, and it was just a fantastic game. Earl was there, I was there, and had a chance to talk to Coach Steve Familetta and Marshad Ahmadi after the match. Got their reactions. I will edit in to the audio feed of the podcast, so you'll hear that right now. And we're back. So yeah, there you go, folks. There's our interviews with Coach Steve Familetta and Marshad Ahmadi from Saturday, the Rio Rancho Event Center, where the New Mexico Runners defeated the Bombers 11-8. Come from behind victory for the Runners. Marshad Ahmadi in the fourth quarter played like a man possessed, 4 goals unanswered all by himself to give the Runners the lead in the fourth quarter and pull ahead by the 3-goal lead there. Earl, since you were there, I want to ask you first. I mean, you've obviously been there before. We know Andres, we know the club, we know Coach Steve, and you had some guests. You had your girlfriend there, her daughter with you. I mean, first of all, and she told me this was her first ever live soccer game. So what was her reaction to it, and how did her daughter enjoy it?
So first off, we'll start off with her daughter. Her daughter loved it. She did get a bit exasperated about 7 minutes. 7 minutes left of the fourth quarter because she is 5, and her attention span is about the size of a squirrel, which is also mine. So we're good there. But yeah, so her daughter loved it. My girlfriend, she also loved it because it was fun. And you said I'd been there before, and that's actually fake news, sir. I had never been to a Runners game.
Really? I thought you had been.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So,
Well,
yeah,
how was your experience then? Okay.
I loved it. I mean, obviously a sports fan. So it was great. I had a lot of fun, especially being there with my family. I'm putting in quotations. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, we know Andres. He was on the show a few weeks ago talking about the upcoming season. And yeah, I mean, the Runners came out entertaining as always. And you'll hear it from what Coach Steve's interview talks about, getting people out there. Guys, if you haven't been out there, go out and catch a game for the Runners. Like, it's a fantastic atmosphere. And the play on the pitch is just something, it's really, really fun. It's a fast, physical style of play. And, the Bombers on Saturday, they had some big guys. They had some sizable guys out there taking the pitch. And, there were some questionable calls, we'll put it that way. Couple questionable fouls. Earl, who stood out for you on Saturday in terms of the Runners and their performance on the evening?
There was 2 of them. Obviously, Marshad stood out because of his possessive, demon-possessed fourth quarter last 5 minutes. That was probably the most interesting, fun 5 minutes I've ever watched in my life. But yeah, so obviously that was fun watching that the last 5 minutes with Marshad. But then Nate, he stood out at the end. I mean, especially coming up with some pretty big saves at the end of it to hold the lead. So Nate Yeager, who stood on his head the last 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes, he was on your end down there by the jumper. So you had probably the best view of it. But from where I was sitting up, I mean, watching Marshad just run down and do his thing, and then watching Nate do his thing, standing on his head, doing backflips and doing whatever he could until he got hurt or he picked up the blue card and they'd bring in Chucky. But the last 3 minutes that he was in there, it was great.
Yeah, you mentioned Nate Yeager, of course, goalkeeper for the Runners. Nate actually picked up a knock early in the first quarter with a collision, which in my opinion happened right in front of me. Probably should have been a blue card on the Bombers player that ran into him. came down, took a knock on his left leg, and was nursing it for most of the afternoon. At one point, looking at he might even come out before he received his blue card there in the fourth quarter. But yeah, great performance by Nate Yeager. Absolutely outstanding job blocking some of those shots, picking up some of the rebounds off the boards. Yeah, can't talk enough about what a good job that he did. I want to pick out Colton Ord. Dude, I mean, Colton Ord, once you see him out there, like you see who he's like, you'll never like not recognize him anywhere. Fast, physical player, super high footballing IQ. Like you could see, like he made some real timely tackles on the pitch to stop a few attacks by the Bombers. So really great to see Colton out there and see how Coach Steve has got these guys playing here early in the season. So yeah, it was just a really incredible night. The runners came from behind multiple times until right there in the fourth quarter and handed the Amarillo Bombers their first defeat of the season. The Bombers came in at 2-0. Yeah, here you go. New Mexico Runners Facebook account. Colton is simply a beast. Yeah, he absolutely is. Colton was just he was dynamic. He was unbelievable Saturday afternoon out at the event center. But yeah, it was an incredible performance by the runners. Luis Martinez had a goal like right in front of me there towards the end of the match. Came over and like banged on the glass, like the panel like right in front of me.
Did you poop your pants?
No, I did not. Had it been last year, my first time out there, like I might have, but getting used to the sound, because that's something that you don't expect when you first go out there, is the sound of the number one, the ball hitting the boards, and number two, the players hitting the boards as well at times. But yeah, it was just so much fun, and it's the passion and enjoyment that these guys had. It was, it's an experience. It is. And Andres and everyone at the Runners, they put on a fantastic show, throughout the day. Whether it's, pregame, halftime, the post-match meetup on the pitch where everyone can come down and meet the coach, meet the players, get your pictures taken with the players, with Rio. It's just, guys, it's just absolutely incredible. But yeah, the Runners approved 2-0 on the season. Let me pull up. I was pulling up the standings here real quick.
Yeah, so while you're pulling that up, I'll go and I'll fill some time. I do want to give a shout out to Mershad and Andres if you're listening. Mershad's a genuine human. I did have to go track him down to get a picture. Obviously, I had a 5-year-old who was interested in getting a picture with him. So the fact that whenever I did find him, he actually took her away from us and walked in front of us and did his thing. And then some random dude carrying a microphone tried to get some interviews, tried to push him out of the way. Just kidding. God knows I love him. But yeah, so just Mershad just taking the time out of his day to just leaving his family. He was talking to his family, left them behind, and decided to take pictures with the little 5-year-old to make her day. It was the best.
Yeah, Mershad, just super, super humble dude. Like I said, I talked to him earlier. You heard that just a few minutes ago on the recording. Mershad, 9 goals already through 2 matches. He is on track for just a tremendous season. So yeah, just get out there. Runners, of course, now they're now in first place in the Midwest division of the MASL2. They do have a slight advantage over the Amarillo Bombers, who are now sitting at 2-1 on the season. Next match for the Runners is January 21st against the Colorado Inferno. Now, you may remember us talking about the Colorado Inferno last season, where former Runners goalkeeper Casey Gasson was playing at the time. So Colorado Inferno, I believe this game is at the Rio Rancho Event Center. Yes, it is. January 21st at 5:05 p.m. kickoff. Guys, get your tickets for this. You can get them day of at the Rio Rancho Event Center, or you can get them online. Yeah, I don't disagree with this statement at all. Mershad could absolutely be the MVP of the year. If he keeps up what he's doing, he could be fantastic. So, yeah. Check out the Runners, Rio Rancho Event Center, Saturday, January 21st, 5:05 p.m. kickoff, NewMexicoRunners.com. Find them on Facebook, Twitter, at NM Runners. So go check them out, guys. Can't tell you just enough just how much fun this is to get out and see them. And they're super active on Facebook. They'll talk to you. They'll answer anything you need. So yeah, get out there and do that. So that is our runners recap for this week. We will have more runners coverage throughout the season, where we will work on getting Coach Steve Familetta here on the show one night, and maybe a couple players or two throughout the season to talk to them as things continue. So moving right along to New Mexico United. We've had a lot of news. USL Championship, New Mexico United related. Jacob, where do we kick off our United coverage for 2023?
So let's go chronologically and start with Josh Doling coming over from St. Louis City 2. He is a 25-year-old forward from England, scored 8 goals last year in 21 appearances for St. Louis City 2. St. Louis City SC 2. God, that's a mouthful.
Yes, it is. The MLS NP.
Yeah. I'm not. I thought it was NXTP. I don't know what it is. Anyways, he's a young guy. Has a little bit of height, 6'2". Not a skinny 6'2" though. He's pretty filled out. Thinking maybe a Dev-like comparison there, but obviously a much younger Dev-like comparison there. And I think he's going to be a sneaky good pickup for this club.
Yeah, I think so too. This signing was announced. Let me go ahead and
23rd. 23rd. Sorry, I thought it was
December 23rd. So yeah, that was our Christmas present from the Mexico United, the signing of Josh Doling. When you go and you look at this kid's stats, he came, obviously, Jacob mentioned, came over from England. He went and he played at Missouri State, where he scored 40 goals in 82 appearances in collegiate play.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and this is a guy like super highly rated. A lot of good things to see out of him. He's got some pace. He's got some size. I mean, the club tweeted at us basically, or called us out in one of their tweets. They said, we've been begging for a 9 and a defender. Well, here's our 9, and we debated. Yeah.
4 days later, we get a defender. So
yeah, 4 days later we get a defender. So I mean, we kind of looked at this and we don't typically record over the holidays. Had a chance to sit with this. We did the interview with him, talk to him. Great to do that. And when in one of our last recordings of 2022, Jacob, you and I talked about what our needs were, what our wants were. How do you think Josh fits into this role? And is this the kind of signing that you were expecting to see out of the club?
I think it's one of the signings that I was expecting to see. We typically get a younger kind of up and coming player coming in. I think we're not done at the forward position. I think we'll see a couple of established guys get brought in. Hopefully maybe one of those is like a Kiesewetter coming back or something like that. But I think it's a step in the right direction. He's got potential through the roof, basically. And so hopefully we can turn him into something that is productive and can find the back of the net here and there.
Earl, how excited were you to see this signing? And did this spell the end of Romario Williams?
All right, let's answer this backwards. Yes, it did spell the end. Actually, I don't think it spelled the end of Romario Williams. I think Romario Williams last season spelled the end of Romario Williams.
Okay.
How excited was I to see this? I didn't know the guy. Obviously, I was a little out of tune for a while. So didn't really faze me. Still doesn't really faze me until he proves that he's good.
I think this could be, a Sammy Sergi type signing, which when I say that, I know a lot of people might think that he was a bust because he didn't necessarily produce during the regular season, but he had health issues that kept him out a lot of that season. And so we saw him come into preseason 2 years ago and kind of light preseason on fire with I want to say it was 4 goals in 4 games. And I could see Josh fitting that mold, but hopefully staying healthy and being able to actually produce during the regular season. That being said, we thought Nico was going to come in here and set the world on fire. I thought Brian Brown a couple years ago was going to come in and set the world on fire. So who knows? What I do think that if we're going to succeed as a club, other than going out there and finding a Nico Brett that comes in and stays at the form that he was in when he came in, we're going to have to find some diamonds in the rough like this that can come in and surprise people and kind of burst onto the scene. And I think Josh has as good a chance as doing that as anybody else.
See, that's kind of why I'm at, well, yeah, cool, he came in. Now, if he can actually perform on the pitch at least 50% of the time, I mean, I'll be happy with that. If it's even 2 more minutes more than Romario Williams or 1 more goal more than Romario, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, I think in a perfect world, we get 5 from him, 5 goals.
I'll be happy with 3.
I think 5 would be tremendous as far as if assuming we have Hurst and Santi and Mondo and Weehan and all those guys doing their part, to get 5 goals from a new player to the USL Championship that's only 24, 25 years old would be fantastic.
Yeah, he's the guy that has a very good opportunity to come and produce, because you've got guys around him. Obviously, Mondo is going to be constantly getting to a forward position. Santi's going to be pushing forward. Christian Nava, Bees, Rivas, these are guys that are all going to push forward. You've got guys who can play out wide, Harry and Brucey, who can put the ball into the middle. So, and Josh is also a guy who can drive the ball forward himself. We see it in some of the highlight packages. Mm-hmm. He can push the ball up the field. So he's going to be put into some opportunities, into some chances to where he can make a difference on the pitch. Now, it's not going to take much to have more of an impact on the stat sheet than Romario was, or some of the other guys we've seen over the past couple of years. Robert here, no more 2 teams, 5 goals is good. Yeah. I mean, you got a guy who's, who did well at a similar level last season,
My only question with him is, if we have Hurst, if we do add 1 or 2 more, established, more veteran players in the championship at that position, how much playing time is he going to get, barring injuries? Which, we've been in this league long enough that we should know that injuries are a part of it. So, assuming he doesn't get injured, assuming he stays healthy, but you can factor in injuries to other players above him if you want. What would you expect minute wise or match wise from him? Like, how many matches does he start? How many matches does he appear in? Because I'm thinking like single digit starts and like maybe 12 to 15 appearances, depending on what we do with the roster going forward. Because I'm kind of under the assumption that we bring in, 2 more forwards to kind of fight for time up there.
Well, roster is currently sitting at 20 players, and we'll get to the other signings here in just a little bit.
To kind of sneak peek I haven't looked at the numbers for the roster. Are you counting the 3 academy kids in that? Okay.
Yeah, counting the 3 academy kids in that, the roster sitting at 20 with 6 players listed as forwards on the website. Now, I don't expect Alex Wagner to have a huge amount of time. So that being said, if you're looking at strictly playing in a 9 or a 10 role, pushing that top there, or then I think you're looking at Josh and Greg getting the majority of those times. And I think you're going to see maybe Josh and Amando kind of flip in and out a bit. I say maybe 12 to 13 starts and probably about 24 appearances. Somewhere there, because like he's a guy you can bring on for Santi. He's a guy you can bring on for Armando, for Bees that can push the ball as well. So, I think he's got some versatility to him that's going to give him opportunities to play more.
Yeah, I mean, that could be. Earl, do you have thoughts or no? No? Okay. Moving on. So Seth got his forward on the 23rd. I had to wait a little bit longer, but on the 27th, Timothy Zali, is that how you pronounce the last name? I had it, and then I lost the confidence in my head for it. He is a very tall 24-year-old center back coming over from Switzerland. Transfer Market has it as a free transfer, but it's Transfer Market, so who knows? But that's the second tier. He came from the second tier Swedish league or Swiss league. There we go. And he comes over. The little highlight package that United put together, which is essentially all that we kind of have to work on. You probably could find some packages of them, but I honestly haven't dug that deep on these guys with the holidays. But I like what I see. He brings some much needed height. He doesn't seem very thick, but what are you guys? How are? I'm assuming. Well, let me answer for Earl here. When he produces on the pitch, I'll be excited about it. I was kind of busy over the holidays, and so yeah.
Actually, motherfucker.
Thanks, Earl.
Actually, motherfucker. I'm actually excited for this one because for the longest time we didn't have a true center back. I mean, we used old Seymour. Was it Seymour?
Seymour did play some center back, yeah.
Yeah, but he's not listed as center back. He's listed as a defensive mid.
Right.
So for the longest time we didn't play with a true two center back. So having two true center backs that is we go with three, we can flip a coin on either one, either with Kaylin or Timothy, and we should be fine. So for the first time ever, Jacob was actually wrong, like a dumbass. So that's cool.
Well, and then you're forgetting Tete is a center back. Swahi was a center back.
But how often do they play center back?
Swahi played center back every time he played.
Yeah.
And Sheed was either center back or fullback, depending on who else was in the lineup. But for the most part, he was back there with Kaylin too. If we were playing a 4-4-2, and technically, if we're playing a 3-3 or a 3 whatever, 3 at the back, Kaylin, Swahi, Sheed, Yearwood, all played center back. But so I'm glad you're excited about this signing, though. I'm glad you had an opinion on it. That made me feel better.
That's good.
Timothy, he's got some size. We got on the Zoom call with him, got to talk to him a bit. English is not his first language. If you listen to the presser we had, but he did very well speaking English. So he actually has ties to the soccer community here in North America. His brother-in-law played for Vancouver of the MLS, and he's been anxious to come over to the U.S. He specifically wanted to go to the MLS, but this is one of the options that he was presented with. And so he's a guy who brings, and we've talked about in years past, size. He brings some height to the back line, a guy who can, get into the box on set pieces and be potentially dangerous there. But yeah, no, he is a central defender. He's a guy, I think, is going to slide in right beside Kaylin. And he's worked his way up over the past several years through the Swedish league, through the Swedish pyramid, and he looks entirely looks extremely promising, and I think he's excited, and talking to him and listening to that, like he's excited to be here and help spread the New Mexico United colors over to Sweden, and he was saying that most people there don't even know anything about it. So,
I also think that because like last year, we had like Ratty and Sainty coming in from overseas. But Ratty specifically, he didn't get signed until, well, he got signed around this time, but he didn't get here until right before the season started. So hopefully with Timothy being signed, a little bit earlier and having time to get things straight, he can get over here, early enough for the preseason, and we can see him, full his full level at the beginning of the season instead of like Ratty having to wait until 3, 4, 5 weeks into the season before he was match fit.
Yeah. I think they're expecting him to be here ahead of the preseason. So it'll be good to have him, like you said, avoid that situation we had with Ratty. But yeah, I mean, again, 2 big signings. This addressed the needs that Jacob, that you and I were talking about prior to our winter break.
I'm not sure they're quite the known commodities that we were kind of or that I was kind of hoping for in those 2 positions. Which makes me think, we're not done there necessarily in those 2 positions, but it definitely is solid depth for those positions that we were really hurting, because I mean, we had 1 forward on the roster basically as far as like a 9.
To address Robert's question, how many more rising players are we going to poach this year?
Well, first of all, it says pouching. You're going to make fun of us. Get it right. And second of all, you're like 3 weeks too late on that. Like, that was the Santi episode that you needed to do that and ask that question. But I don't think Phoenix really has anybody that I want to poach anymore. So,
right,
the answer is nobody.
Between that and the fact that New Mexico United did go ahead and sign 3 academy players to academy contracts.
What timing by David to put
there
that?
You go. Perfect timing, David.
I said chronological order, David, if you missed that. And so we started off with Doling, and then we're working our way there, and you just so happened to catch us going into this.
Yeah. Back on the 6th, just a few days ago, New Mexico United did announce the signing of Alex Wagner, Miles Merritt, and Andres Robles, all to academy contracts. Which means they are all eligible to play for both first team and the academy for the 2023 season. I mean, if you followed the academy club, if you follow the academy team at all last season, you know that Alex Wagner had a fantastic season. All these guys did really. And, Andres is the guy that we've been looking at for the past couple of years as someone who could potentially make that step up. Earl, we'll start with you. Looking at these 3 academy kids, which of these 3 do you think has first of all, which of these 3 do you think has the ability to step onto the first team and make an impact this season? And secondly, why is it going to be Alex?
Well, I just, until I see him on the pitch performing, I just sorry, Earl. Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't have an answer. I really don't.
Oh, I was right.
Okay.
No, it's not your answer. I just don't have an answer because I haven't followed the academy kids that closely.
Okay. I mean, fair enough. I mean, there are probably a number of folks throughout the New Mexico United nation that did not necessarily pay a whole lot of attention to the academy. Just to remind folks, the academy did go out and finish 5th in the nation and in the tournament last year. So, and I believe Alex Wagner won the Golden Boot for that. So,
it was 5th, but it was very close to being better than 5th.
Yes.
The team that we that ended up. So the way it was there were 4 teams on one side, 4 teams on the other. They played each other once, and then whoever had the best record from each side played it in the championship, blah, blah, blah. We were very close to finishing at the top of our group. Had it not been for we came back from 3-0 down against Tampa. Oh, was it Tampa Bay? I could be wrong. The team that ended up winning our group, we came back from 3-0 down, and then they scored late to get the 4-3 win there. And if that goes differently, then maybe we're sitting here talking about how we finished first, because we played some really good soccer, and Alex was, the goal scorer is always going to get the most hubbub about or from these things, and and sometimes that's a little annoying. But in Alex's case, I think it's well warranted. He has scored the whole time that he's played on this academy team, and he looks absolutely deadly. Um, some of his goals were of the poacher variety, but sometimes that's what you need, and he was just always in the right spot at the right time. But then you could also get the ball at his feet, and he could make things happen there too. It wasn't just all right place, right time stuff, and so I actually have a different answer than Alex
Okay.
for the question than Earl, because he's going to come in and go up against these center backs that are, way more established than what he was going against. And I think he could not necessarily struggle. I'll say struggle with the talent that USL Championship brings at that back line. However, midfield is something, Nava's come in and it took him a long time to score, but we've seen the midfield be very translatable from that younger academy. We've seen Diego Luna come in and do it, and a few others. And so Robles to me is the guy that I look at as somebody that can come in and get minutes right away if we need him and if he's available to us. And so I look at him, and he might not come in and be like 4 or 5 goals and a lot of flashy stuff like Alex could be. But he's going to come in. He's going to be steady. He's going to be solid. He's not going to make huge mistakes. And I really hope that we get a chance to see all 3 of these guys play for the first team at some point this season, whether it's in the Open Cup or on some of these Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday matches somewhere in there. I'm excited for it. I don't think they're going to get a whole lot of minutes. I don't think we're going to see a lot of them like we did for Nava last year. Get a lot like we saw Nava get a lot of minutes last year. I don't think we're going to see that. I think it's going to be more like Nava's first year, where he was eligible to play for the team and kind of bounce back and forth a little bit. But if they can get just a little bit of playing time under their belt, I think it'll go a long way for them and their confidence. And I'm really excited for these 3 specifically. And we had Brucey on, right after he got announced that he was coming back, and he's been coaching with these kids, and he didn't throw out names. I asked him what some names that we could look at. He didn't throw out names, but he said all these kids are super talented and have a bright future. And I think these 3 are among the brightest futures that we have for sure.
Yeah, Andres Robles, of course, one of the initial signings to the academy way back in February of 2021. I believe he was the 10th player signed to the academy. So he's been in and around the ethos of the ecosystem here with New Mexico United for a couple of years now. And Miles didn't come in too far after him. I believe it was August of that year. So these are guys who've been here, they've been around, they've seen the system, they understand, they have an understanding of of what Zach wants to do on the pitch. And like you said, these are guys that can potentially, all 3 of them could potentially step in and play contributing roles. Miles out of the midfield, I think he's got great vision. I think he has the ability to distribute the ball and put it, into the feet of the guys ahead of him. So keep an eye on these kids throughout the season. They're going to be a lot of fun. I think they do have an opportunity to pick up more minutes than Nava, simply because I feel like Miles and Alex may have a little bit more size, a little bit more, physicality to them than what Christian did. Now we've seen Christian go up against some big guys, but I feel like they can step on and be a little bit more physical, a little bit more, productive that way. And just, being a presence on the pitch, on and off the ball. So I think there's opportunities there for them. So hopefully we can get out to some training sessions here at some point, some preseason matches. David, when's the preseason? I know Tormenta announced their preseason today, so maybe ours is coming soon too, and have an opportunity to see these guys play against some other USL caliber.
From what I heard from shameless plug for David here, the United sessions, it's somewhere in February, like February 12th, I think is what I heard, February 8th, something like that.
Well, yes, I know. I'm just trying to David, give us some information. We want to know. So,
we did see a handful of these guys. You know, me and you went to the preseason last year.
Yeah.
And the FC Tucson match, you know, they had the whole match, and then they had another 45 minutes where we actually got to see them play with Ryden and a few other first teamers, and saw like Coach Ryden out there, you know, getting them gathered up and talking to some defenders back there on how to perform a little better. And so, yeah, that's going to be awesome to be able to see that. And can't wait for that. Speaking of schedules and, you know, actually going to games here, United dropped the schedule for 2023. The USL dropped the home openers about a week and a half ago, I guess. Our home opener is delayed a little bit because of the work that they're doing at Isotopes Park, not till April 15th. But we got 3 matches before that on the road that are some exciting matchups. And you know, it's we knew going into it was going to be, you know, 2 against every Western Conference opponent, and then 1 against the Eastern Conference opponents. But we got to find out who's coming here from the East and who we're going to, and exciting stuff. So were there some Eastern Conference opponents that you guys were looking at?
all of them.
Maybe a road trip. A little.
You know, I looked at the schedule. I threw it all in my calendar. I can't wait for the Google Calendar update to come out with all the times and everything, so I can figure it out. You know, I'm looking at these, and I mean, Cinco de Mayo down at RGV could be fun. Granted, that's interconference.
Hell to get to.
Yeah, I know. I mean, really looking at these dates, I mean, if I had to pick like 1 or 2, especially of the Eastern Conference opponents, Birmingham, so we can meet with Kaler.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good matchup. Go out there and see that after Birmingham came here last year. I think Detroit's coming here this year, so that's going to be fun to see. Tampa Bay, of course.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it'd be in Miami. I mean, if I had to pick, and those are the 3, just because
if Miami wasn't like right around the corner, I think I would maybe try to get that happening. But because it's you know, the first game March 18th, and we're actually going to San Antonio. I think we leave the 21st to go out there. So Miami's probably not going to happen because of that, honestly. But yeah, so Tampa Bay, Birmingham's a good shout there. I'm excited to see Detroit City. I want to see how well they travel if they bring some guys down here. And then I think we have Detroit City. We have 3 first timers coming to the lab. I believe it's Indy, Detroit City, and Louisville. Coming here. Louisville coming here later in the season. That's going to be a fun one. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that's going to be closing out the season. Louisville away at Phoenix, and then home to Memphis. Those are going to be some 3 real interesting matchups there to end the season. Louisville, I believe their fans travel pretty well. Detroit City, I don't know, man. I don't think their fans can handle the 100+ degree heat here. So, I think they might melt on their way down.
Yeah. And then Robert already mentioned, he's coming here for the San Antonio away game or San Antonio home game, which is August 12th. I might be here. I might not. I don't know exactly when I'm starting. Probably not going to be here, but that one's always going to be a fun one. San Antonio is always a fun team to play. And then we got all the Western teams that we played last year that'll be coming here, and we'll be going there. So not a whole lot's changed. Now we do not play the first week of the season. So will you guys be watching USL games that first week, even though we don't play? And if so, which matches are you guys looking at?
Oof. I mean, obviously we'll be watching. Want to get a jump start. Look at especially San Diego Loyal. You want to look at that. And you want to see Miami. To kind of even get an idea of what we're looking at there going into our first couple of matches. For me, though, if looking at these matchups, the ones that jump off the page to me, Loyal Detroit City. That jumps off the page as one that I definitely want to watch. And I would also say Pittsburgh Birmingham jumps off the page. Those are the two that I'm going to be keeping my eye on that first
That's
week.
the one that popped out to me. I mean, our buddy John Morrissey over there on Twitter has, I think he has Birmingham as his little program that he uses, has Birmingham as winning the East. And so I know it's got flaws.
I have problems with his rankings. Look, I get the math. I understand it. I understand what you're trying to do. I think his model is still way too high on some teams. Birmingham, Phoenix, and a couple others. I just think it's way too high, especially given what Rising's roster looks like right now. Like,
well, he did throw us a nugget there about why Phoenix is a little higher because of some stuff that hasn't been announced, but it's not my place to announce it, so we're not going to go there. But
yes, yeah, you and I are aware. You and I are aware of that. Earl does not know.
Still, it's it's one player. I don't think.
Yeah, I do.
Bumps him up to.
You son of a...
You sent the tweet or you sent the message in the group chat, so Earl does know.
Oh,
yeah.
Did I? I don't remember.
Yes, you did. Anyways, and so what I was saying was, Birmingham going to be a top team in the West or top team in the East. They've been a top team in the East for a while. They came here. They kind of took it to us, for sure. And so that is a team that I enjoy watching, and a team that, a match that I plan on watching, for sure. Phoenix Charleston is kind of interesting just to see what the hell's going on there. Two teams that drastically underperformed last year. Phoenix is having to go to the East Coast to start the season over there in Charleston. Interesting to see there. Orange County, Lou City. Orange County, another team coming off a down year. So we'll see what they're all about this season. So some really good matchups that first season. But I said, if you're going to watch games that first season, we don't know where we're going to watch these games. Still have not heard if they'll be on ESPN Plus again, or if they'll be moving to a different streaming outlet. If it's not ESPN Plus, is there a chance it's, some unknown name, or do you think, a well-established streaming service jumps in and tries to get it? What do you think is going to happen there?
Well, let's get that. We did get Earl's take on week 1, so let's get to that. We'll get to that here in just a second. Earl,
had such a good segue too.
I'm not going to watch soccer because I'm busy with my family.
That statement might not be far from the truth. No, actually, I want to watch the San Diego Detroit game.
That'll be good.
That's the one that I'm interested in, especially with San Diego making such crazy moves with Landon Donovan moving out or moving up. I just want to see how they react to the coaching change, really.
Yeah, there's a number of storylines going on there. Obviously, San Diego has some offseason changes. The Fighting Landons are still the Fighting Landons, although they may be on their way to MLS. Who knows? Who knows what's going on there? Detroit City, obviously, they came into the league last year, had a really good season. There's there's a lot going on. A lot of good things there. Shoot, I was looking for something in our group text. Okay, there it is. But yeah, to Jacob's point, talking about ESPN Plus. Currently, there is no deal, as far as we know, because the USL broadcast rights deal with ESPN Plus ended at the end of the 2022 season. There is not anything currently in place. ESPN also has lost MLS to Apple. Robert over here saying rumor is ESPN is a done deal. Now, Jake Edwards went on the record a while back stating that talks were happening with ESPN Plus, and there were a number of other interested parties as well. Jacob, to your question, where does the league go if not ESPN, ESPN Plus? I could see maybe someplace like Paramount Plus picking it up because of all the soccer coverage they already have. Maybe I don't know, maybe Peacock, but I highly doubt that. I don't see Peacock picking up lower division soccer, especially when they have the amount of Premier League coverage that they have there. Now, I think NBC Peacock has tremendous broadcasters. I think that'd obviously be the better of the options going anywhere else. But if it ends up going somewhere, I don't know. I just don't know where it ends up. I don't see Apple picking him up. I don't see Amazon doing it because I think it's way below Amazon's radar. So if there is another home, I sure as shit hope it's not Flow Sports.
That I just hope it's something that is easily accessible, that works, that's not expensive.
Right.
But I really hope it's on ESPN still. I mean, 4 years now we've watched it. I think there's been like 1 or 2 matches that we've had like some technical issues with it. We have to use the local announcers, which for us is great when I'm watching our home games. The away games, not so much, but I think that'd probably be the case no matter where we go. So hopefully it stays on ESPN. If it doesn't go to ESPN, hopefully it goes to a Paramount or a Peacock. I just don't see that happening. So ESPN kind of is like the only show out there that's like really sports centered streaming service. So hopefully it stays there and we get to watch them because I'm not going to be able to get to nearly as many games this year as I have the last few years. So I'm going to be relying on whatever streaming service we use pretty heavily.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping it's ESPN, and I think Robert, I don't know what your source is for it being a done deal, but hopefully you're correct and we can continue just firing up ESPN Plus and having it on there.
Let me ask you this. If the league does stay with ESPN Plus, with ESPN no longer carrying MLS matches, do you think this opens up more opportunities for USL to be on linear television or basic cable?
If it stays, sorry.
Yeah, if it stays, do you think that this opens up opportunities since they no longer have MLS? Does this open up the opportunity for USL to potentially be featured on channels like ABC or even on ESPN, ESPN2 proper instead of just the occasional like match of the week? Or do you think it's things like the Sunday afternoon lineup that ESPN was doing?
I mean, yeah, the content in the summer especially is needed for ESPN. They were having 1 or 2 MLS matches a week there on ESPN or I think a few of them were on ABC. I don't see us getting onto ABC except for maybe like the championship, but no, I think it could definitely fill in a Sunday afternoon time slot, a late 8 o'clock Wednesday night ESPN2. Hopefully that we had I think it was like a record last year of like 10 games on ESPN's network. And so hopefully we can get that bumped up a little bit and really get some eyes on the USL as a whole. And I think for what it is, I think we probably did pretty good views for the championship and stuff like that. And I hope they recognize that and we can get a good deal done, a decent deal done, and get some money in the league coming from ESPN, and ESPN can continue to provide a good quality platform for us to watch these games.
Yeah, I mean, ESPN Plus seemed to do a really good job for the league. I mean, some of the data they put out show that the viewership of the league was was growing. The data that showed, especially there were two particular matches that they pointed out in which the league drew significant numbers on ESPN linear. So, huge growth opportunity for the league here if they do stick with ESPN. I just hope they don't end up at like Flow or Fox. And even with the departure of Taylor Twellman from ESPN, I feel like the platform, as long as ESPN continues to use the voices and names that we know from around the league, I think there's a big opportunity for the league to continue to grow there on that platform. So, Earl just walked away.
Yeah, that's what he does. Robert did send his his source. It was a tweet from Phil Grooms. Somebody had put a tweet out that said that they had released their schedule, but didn't say where they're going to be broadcasting. Phil came in and said that it sounds like it's a done deal. I think Phil Grooms is pretty plugged into the USL. He was on the USL show for years. So hopefully he's correct there, and I would say he's a fairly reliable source. So that makes me feel a little bit better than when we started this conversation. So hopefully that gets done. We can celebrate that and be able to watch all the USL games from wherever we are.
Yeah, it would certainly be a big thing. So, Earl, I do have one more question for you, and Jacob didn't know that I was gonna drop this, but we know that you have in the past harbored dreams of becoming a professional soccer player. We know
There's not a fucking chance I go embarrass myself on open tryouts for University United on January 27th. Not gonna fucking happen.
What if I pay for it? I guess he just muted himself.
He muted.
That's still a no.
Dang, I didn't even get to finish it off. I mean, I'm sure losing at a penalty shootout to a mascot, kind of hurts the feelings a little bit. So, the club just announced it. First time since the inaugural season, New Mexico United is holding open tryouts for a chance to join the 2023 team. Those are, of course, going to be on January 28th down at Kramer Fields.
So here's the deal. Here's the deal, because Robert said he'll chip in too. Tomorrow morning, I will open a poll on Facebook. It'll go for, what the hell's today?
Tomorrow will be the 11th.
Tomorrow's the 11th, so it'll go for 5 days.
Okay.
So what's 5 days from tomorrow?
That'll be the 16th.
The 16th, which is Monday. So it goes until Monday. Fucking David.
You're screwed. You are already committed.
All right, it's like I was saying, I'll open up a poll and you guys get to vote. If you guys say yes, Earl will go try out for New Mexico United.
I don't think you thought this through. I think you're now thinking it through, and the realization is hitting you, and I'm loving it personally.
But this is also pending approval from a girlfriend.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You can use her as a scapegoat, I guess.
There's the caveat. She has to sign off on it. Okay.
Well, David, we're about to wrap this up. So if you got anything you want to tell us, any days to be looking forward to, now would be a good time.
If Earl goes out for it, Robert, we will reach out. We will be in touch with David on a daily basis, trying to get permission to be out there to film. We'll just film Earl. We won't film anybody else. We'll film Earl and see how he does. We'll put that video out.
Because they're going to put Earl on a separate field with the 8th graders and be like,
we haven't seen the entire schedule.
I don't know what that means.
That means there's also Open Cup.
Yeah. Well, I know the dates for Open Cup rounds.
Fucking players, David. I want info on players.
We don't have times. We don't have locations for all these matches technically. So I mean, there's still schedule information to come. So excited that we don't. Oh, there are no promo days listed either. There were no promo days listed either on that schedule. So
or
I'm sure that
always see some preseason in there.
Yeah, preseason stuff as well. So yeah, lot of stuff still to come. But yeah, Robert, I promise you, if Earl goes out for this, we will film it. We will do everything we can to get permission to go out and film Earl. And Earl, you and I were talking about how we both had considered trying out for the runners. Now I've obviously got like a decade on you, so you're young enough that you could potentially try out for this and still make it.
Yeah. So if runners have tryouts, he muted himself again because he's a little baby cry sometimes. Next year for runners tryouts, I will be there.
Okay.
If I'm not in the academy still, I will be there, and we will see what we can do.
There we go. All right. I think that's everything I had. I do have some other things that we can touch on like another time. Definitely some things that I am following to see what happens with them. But man, guys, it's good to be back. It is good to be back.
We can also rumor has it's breaking rumor news at this point. The runner tryouts are free, Robert, just so you know. And if they're not free, I know a guy.
Anyways, what you were in the middle
So
of
the breaking news is my favorite pastime, WWE, has been
Earl, we're trying to keep this to an
Shut
hour.
your
We're already
freaking
at
mouth.
almost 10 minutes.
It's rumored to be sold to the Saudi Arabian people group.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I thought you were going to be talking about Stephanie McMahon stepping down and Vince McMahon coming back and other things. So, okay. Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that will certainly be interesting. So we'll be following that too as well. Obviously, Royal Rumble is coming up here in just a couple weeks. So Earl and I will sit down and we'll talk Royal Rumble here in probably about 2 weeks or so. But yeah, I mean, guys, it's good to be back. 2023 is here. New season is just around the corner, like 2 months away from opening day. 2 months away. Like this is coming down to it. So schedule information, US Open Cup information is coming, more roster information potentially, promo nights, preseason, all sorts of stuff are going to be popping up here and there. Again, like I said, we're going to keep doing our bi-weekly content probably to almost the beginning of March. Maybe we'll start there first in March. We'll see what happens with the preseason schedule. So stay tuned for all that. Jacob Earl, any closing thoughts before Jacob gets us out of here? All right.
No, I think you said it well there. Happy to be back. I mean, it was just 3 weeks. It wasn't crazy long, but it was 3 busy weeks for everybody, I'm sure. Robert, and hopefully we get some news between now and 2 weeks from now. We'll be back in a couple weeks around the 24th with another episode. Unless something crazy happens between now and then, we might pop on and do a short one. And we just I thank David and Robert and New Mexico Runners and everybody that hopped in the chat. We appreciate you. If you haven't listened, or if you don't watch live or watch it and you listen on a podcast player, rate and review. That always helps us out a little bit. Tries to get our name out there a little bit more. We're trending upward. We're getting more and more listeners every week, and so we just appreciate y'all. And if you have any feedback, message us. We got Twitter, we got Facebook, we've got Instagram. We all have. Oh, nice.
We also have hackers.
Some spam in the chat there. And so, just hit us up. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, whatever. And we'll be sure to take that into consideration. But, we got 2 weeks. Keep your eye out for news and notes from Mexico United. We have, when did you say the Runners game is? The 21st?
21st. Yep.
So we will have a Runners game between now and then at home. Go check that out. I think tickets are like as cheap as like $15, maybe even cheaper. I can't really remember off the top of my head right now. I had it last time when we had Andres on, but I didn't commit that to memory. So get out there. It's a crazy experience from what Seth and Earl have said. I've watched the games on Facebook, and it looks like a lot of fun to be there. So Go support them just as much as you do United, and let's get soccer in New Mexico back fired up for this season. So until the 24th, guys, somos unidos.